It was a sunny, cheerful morning in Duckburg, and Donald Duck was brimming with excitement. He stood in his backyard, holding a rolled-up blueprint with a bold smile on his beak. "Today's the day," he quacked with determination. "I'm building the perfect birdhouse." Donald's dream to attract a charming family of robins to his garden and become their beloved landlord. He imagined birds chirping sweet songs every morning, fluttering around happily in their luxurious wooden home. With a puffed chest and a twinkle in his eye, he laid out his tools like a professional carpenter: a shiny hammer, a measuring tape, some wood planks, nails, screws, glue, a saw, and a very thick instruction manual. He wore a tool belt too big for him, a carpenter's hat slightly tilted, and thick gloves that made it hard to grab anything properly. "Piece of cake," Donald said confidently. Famous last words. Donald's initial attempts. He opened the instruction manual and stared at the diagram of the birdhouse. Step 1, he read aloud, squinting. "Measure and cut wood to exact specifications." "Easy, right?" Donald grabbed the measuring tape and a plank of wood. "Let's see. 12 inches here," he mumbled. But instead of marking the correct length, he accidentally measured his arm instead of the plank. Snip! He sawed along the wrong line, completely unaware. Next, he tried to hammer in a few nails. "Steady now, Donald, nice and easy." Bam! The hammer hit his thumb instead of the nail. "Yayo!" he howled, jumping up and down, holding his throbbing hand while the hammer flew behind him and landed in his watering can with a splash. Frustrated, Donald shook the manual and growled, "You call these instructions? I've read cereal boxes that make more sense." The chaos escalates. Determined not to be beaten, Donald charged ahead. He attempted to glue two pieces of wood together but ended up gluing his gloves to the planks. In his effort to pull free, he flailed about wildly, toppling a can of paint over himself, turning his blue sailor outfit completely lime green. He tried drilling holes for ventilation, but forgot to hold the plank steady. The drill spun in place and dragged the whole plank into a nearby bush. "Oh, phooey!" Donald yelled, feathers ruffled, chasing after it. Then came the moment of the misfiring nail gun. Donald picked it up like a cowboy in a western showdown. "This'll get things moving." But instead of firing into the wood, it misfired into the air, nails raining down like a porcupine attack. He ducked, dived, and ran in circles, squawking with panic as the nails landed around him like hailstones. By now, the backyard looked like a construction zone hit by a tornado. Splintered wood, tools scattered everywhere, glue globs, feathers floating through the air, pure Donald Duck chaos. A birdhouse unlike any other. Hours later, with sweat dripping down his brow and every feather out of place, Donald finally stood up and held his creation proudly. The birdhouse was unique. Crooked, lopsided, and mysteriously held together with spaghetti-like globs of glue and band-aids, it resembled something between a pirate ship and a melted toaster. The door was upside down. The roof was at an angle. One perch was a toothbrush. The whole thing tilted dramatically to one side. "Perfect," Donald declared, wiping his brow proudly. "A little character never hurt anybody." He stepped back, hands on hips, admiring his handiwork with the kind of pride only he could muster. Never mind that it looked like something out of a cartoon scrapyard to Donald, it was a masterpiece. Closing scene, a bittersweet ending. With dramatic flair, Donald carried the birdhouse and mounted it on a pole in the center of his yard. He sprinkled some birdseed nearby and stepped back, binoculars in hand, waiting eagerly. Moments later, a curious flock of robins flew over, circling the strange new home. They landed nearby, tilting their heads and chirping in confusion. One brave robin fluttered closer, inspected the upside-down door, then looked back at its companions and shrugged. Another tried to perch on the toothbrush but slipped off. The birds conferred with a few tweets, and after a moment, they flew off not in disgust, but to return with twigs and bits of string. Donald watched in awe as the birds began to remodel the house themselves, adjusting it bit by bit. Donald grinned proudly. "See, they love it," he said, totally unaware of the birds' frantic repairs. As the sun set, Donald sat in a lawn chair, sipping lemonade, watching his guests move into their bizarre but now slightly improved home. He smiled, sighed happily, and leaned back with a satisfied chuckle. "What can I say, Donald Duck, master craftsman?" Cue final comedic moment, the birdhouse's roof falls off and a bird gently places a leaf over it as a patch. The end.